If I were to claim that I have been watching the WNBA religiously for the past 3 years, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't believe me because, as we all know, that all changed with the arrival of Caitlin Clark. In fact, no female player in WNBA history has attracted the attention of the entire sports world like Caitlin is doing right now. And she's putting women's basketball on center stage for casual sports fans to talk about, which is something that has never been done in a long time. To compare, what Caitlin is doing now is similar to what Michael Jordan did in the early 1990s, when he elevated the game itself to a whole new level while also making the NBA more marketable and profitable in the process. Prior to the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown in viewership by 40% from 2022 to 2023. But since Caitlin Clark arrived, all right, enough about viewing. Let's speak about ticket sales instead. Please be patient with me. Ticket sales grew in 2023 by 16% from 2022. Ticket sales have grown by 93% in 2024. What that means is without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA would have taken till 2029 or 2030 to get to where Caitlin Clark has gotten them today. What Caitlin Clark has done has grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days what would have taken 5 years. So yes, the WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark, make that abundantly clear. But it was growing incrementally compared to the exponential growth you're seeing now. As they say, the numbers don't lie. The presence of Caitlin alone in the WNBA has indeed put more butts in the seats and more eyes on the WNBA as a basketball product. She has become an instant ambassador for the WNBA and on women's basketball in general. And for the very first time in a long while, the WNBA has finally found the face of the league that they can bank on for the years to come. But see, despite the media attention and insane amount of money that Caitlin is bringing to the WNBA, a lot of her peers and foreign players are not happy with what she's doing right now. And in fact, most of them just hate her because they believe she's hogging the spotlight onto herself. I mean, take the case of Lynette Woodard. In case you're unfamiliar with the name Woodard, played for Kentucky from 1977 to 1981. And during her playing days, Woodard was just an absolute beast and was considered one of the most prolific scorers in her time, so much so that she ended up as the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball history with 3,649 points across her name. Now, when Caitlin surpassed her scoring record last February, Woodard came out a bit salty and defensive upon learning the news, and instead of acknowledging and celebrating her accomplishment, here's what she said: "I am the hidden figure, but no longer now. My record was hidden from everyone for 43 years. 43 years. I don't think I'll just go ahead and get the open out of the room. I don't think my record has been broken because you can't duplicate, but you're not duplicating, and so unless you come with a men's basketball and a 2-point shot, though she has right to say and be acknowledged as the uncrowned leading scorer of women's college basketball. I think it's off-putting to put Caitlin in a bad light right after she just dethroned her while it's true Woodard play in a much more challenging basketball environment back then than Caitlin. It's not her fault that the 3-point line was added. It's not her fault that she has to play using a women's seized basketball. The game simply evolved over time. And if the so-called advantages favored Caitlin offensively in a certain way and made her a better scorer, then it's not her fault. So why do you take it against her like you'd never hear Kareem making some lousy excuse about how there was no 3-pointer back in the day when LeBron broke his scoring record last year? And in fact, Kareem was actually on the sidelines and eventually celebrated with him on the court the moment LeBron hit the record-breaking shot. Since no one was aware of Woodard's record until Caitlin broke it, she should have been grateful to Caitlin rather than disparaging her. After all, it was Caitlin's media attention that gave Woodard the opportunity to be recognized for her contributions to the game. And another Hall of Famer who is vehemently envious of Caitlin is the former WNBA legend. Cheryl Swoops, just like Woodard, Swoops quickly discredited Caitlin for breaking the all-time scoring record, by saying that the reason why she successfully broke it was simply because she had played more games. This isn't just for Caitlyn, but you asked me about Caitlyn if you're going to break a record to me. If it's legitimate, you'd have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it. So, if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlyn should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a CO year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean, so she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record now? When you hear it the first time, you would believe that Swoops was dropping facts with her body language and the way she says her argument with such conviction. However, a simple search online would tell you that Swoops is lying and just flat out hating on Caitlyn. See, as you can see in this graph right here, Swoops didn't stop there. After spitting 100% lies, she would double down on her narrative by saying Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game here. I know you like that, hell yeah, okay again. If someone were to just type in, Caitlin Clark's stats this year, it would show via ESPN. In fact, Caitlin has surpassed Plum's record by playing fewer games than her. Plum had set the record with 139 games, while Caitlin broke it in just 126 games. Again, a quick Google search would reveal that Swoops was lying based on her college statistics. The 4-year athlete from Iowa attempts 22.3 shots each game, so she just said that's why she scored so many points per game. It's evident as day that you can't teach class regardless of whether you're a Hall of Famer like Swoops or an up-and-coming star like Angel Reese. In fact, the reason I brought Reese up in the conversation was because she has also been low-key. Cum was only taking about 18 to 22 shots per ball game, far from the 40 shots that Swoops was saying. Caitlyn, I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now, and understanding negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly I'll take that, because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball that you never would think that would be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. And just looking at that, I'll take that role, I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down to history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball, it's not just because of one person, it's because of me too. And I want you all to realize that it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game. To me, Reese is just jealous of Caitlyn, because despite the fact that Reese and her team defeated her for the state championship, Caitlyn still emerged as the first overall pick in the draft and, worse, was chosen ahead of her. At this point, it seems like everyone in the league, including the veterans, despises Caitlyn's popularity and is jealous of it. Lexi Brown has also fired some shots at Caitlyn around the issue that Ice Cube apparently offered her $5 million to play on the Big Three for 8 games. Here's her take on it. If you open the article and you see what he said, was his reasoning he wanted to provide more opportunities for WNBA players and provide opportunities to not go overseas. So you offer the contract to a player who's not yet even in the WNBA Big Three. Does not happen during overseas season. So that doesn't make sense. That's true. The people coming at me, no one really came at me sideways. One, I'm not a hater. This has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. If he offered this to any college player, it would have been like, why? But because he's offering her $5 million, that's a better business decision than the WNBA wanting her to come play at the WNBA and be locked in with a boy. That's not a business decision for us, for haters, because we want her to come to the W where she will be celebrated and embraced and uplifted. It's going to be nothing's going to be easy, it's going to be competitive, but we're waiting for her. So for us to get just constantly on, you can't even acknowledge the growth in how amazing the WNBA is doing, because this happens. I mean, I don't get why she has to explain why Caitlyn should or should not take the offer, and in my view, I think she's just jealous that Caitlyn had the opportunity to get that crazy amount of money by participating in just a couple of games, while she, on the other hand, was busting her butt for 6 years and only earning about 70 grand on average yearly. Instead of trying to explain the motive of Ice Cube, here's some practical advice that Lexi should have said right off the bat. When is the W season over? October, Caitlyn. Accept it, accept it. You have 8 games left, 8 games except for that $5 million. And then you enter the W, it's that simple. Lexi justifies her take by saying, "We want her to come to the W where she will be celebrated and embraced and uplifted. It's going to be like nothing's going to be easy, it's going to be competitive, but we're waiting for her." Well, I don't know, Alexia is smoking because Caitlyn has only received positive welcomes up until now, and those events occurred before the inbound, so anybody can shoot the free throw. Of course, Indiana would have Clark, who can shoot it a little lightning quick, and talk about the physicality. Dan Evans, wrapping up about Seattle, and all of a sudden we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long, 44. And to put the cherry on top, the WNBA didn't pick Caitlyn to be a part of the USA team that will be competing in this upcoming Olympics, even though she has the skills and the stats to back it all up. But then again, despite all the hate and the oozing smell of jealousy that she's been receiving from all angles, Caitlyn is proving her bullies wrong game after game, as she's currently averaging 16.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, assists, and 1.4 steals, and is on her way to becoming the Rookie of the Year. So with this said, I think Caitlyn will do just fine, and the hate she's been receiving, well, it will just fuel the fire inside her belly even more anyway. What do you guys think? Was Caitlyn snubbed from the Olympics because of all the hate she's been getting? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video in order to ensure that you don't miss any of our next videos. Please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. This was Zaksh, and I'll see you guys in the next video.